students, I am Madhuri Abhale from Saraswat International Academy. I am teaching Science of Standard 6. Here we are going to continue chapter number 5, Separation of Substances, part 2. Students, in part 1 we had seen the introduction part of chapter number 5. Now, in part 2, we are going to see the first page of chapter number 5. So, let's start. There are many instances when we notice a substance being separated from a mixture of materials. That means in our day-to-day life or on daily basis, okay, we all separate a mixture of materials in different substances, okay, like suppose example, when we are separating wheat flour, okay, from solid particles, at that time we separate a mixture from materials, okay. At the time of when we separate tea leaves from tea, okay, just read this. Tea leaves are separated from the liquid with a strainer while preparing tea. So everyone knows that at the time of preparing tea, what has been done? With the help of this strainer, they are separating tea leaves from liquid of tea. So this diagram we had already seen in part number 1. So you can see here some tea leaves were lying on the strainer. So this strainer is used for separating insoluble or solid impurities. Okay, so with the help of this strainer we get a proper liquid form of tea. Now, grain is separated from stalks while harvesting. So again, this example we had seen earlier. So at the time of the long stalks, if we talk about the long stalks, and when we suppose to separate the grains from the stalk, at that time what we have to do, we just need to follow the process of harvesting. So let's see how harvesting is used. So this is a labor workforce for harvesting process. So you can see with the help of sickle, everyone knows that the sickle, with the help of sickle, the laborers or the farmers are cutting these stalks, okay. And when the crops or when any finished product were matured, after that they need to harvest this crop. So many farmers or many laborers use this type of sickle for harvesting the crop, but nowadays this type of machinery is used in foreign countries. These machineries can be seen for harvesting purpose. Now, milk or curd is churned to separate the butter. Again, milk or curd, or we can say a buttermilk and butter, we can easily separate by churning that liquid. But how? Because butter is a light substance, that is why the butter will float on the buttermilk. So easily with the help of our hands we can separate the butter from the buttermilk. So you can observe in this diagram, the person is churning the buttermilk. With the help of this churning, the butter is automatically comes together in bulk, and after that with the help of hands we can easily separate the butter. So you can see here, with the help of this instrument or equipment, the buttermilk is churned. Okay, after that the butter will gathered together in bulk, and after that the butter will be float on the buttermilk, and with the help of our hands we can easily separate the butter from this buttermilk. So easily we can separate the two substances. Now let's move ahead. As we learned in chapter 3, we gain cotton to separate its seeds from fiber. So, in chapter 3, what we had learned, when cotton plants matured, at that time the seeds of the cotton burst out. Okay, and on this seed the cotton will spread. After that, with the help of hands, we cut these seeds, and with the help of dyeing method we separate this seed from this cotton, and we get cotton fiber. Perhaps you might have eaten salted dalia or poha. So if you found that it had chilies in it, you may have carefully taken them out before eating. So this is a very interesting example. Suppose you are eating some pohas. You can see or observe in this picture, and you do not want to eat these chilies. Now, how will separate these chilies from this poha? By using our hands, we can easily separate these chilies from this poha. So, in short, we just take these chilies and we'll put beside this plate. So with the help of hand picking method, we can easily separate chilies from these pohas. Now suppose you are given a basket containing mangoes and guavas and asked to separate them. Now in one basket some guavas and some mangoes were kept. Now you need to separate mangoes and guavas. So simply which method you are going to apply? We just use our hands to separate mangoes and guavas. What would you do? Pick out one kind and place them in a separate container, right? So tell me, how will conclude that these are the guavas and these are the mangoes? Because every material or everything, if you talk about fruits, vegetables, or liquid substances, solid substances, or gaseous substances, the separation is based on their appearance, okay, their hardness, their softness, or we can say on their appearance. Okay, in last chapter we had seen the properties of material. So these type of properties, these all properties we can use here in chapter number 5, that is separation of substances. So we can easily see guavas are in green color and mangoes are in yellow color. The taste of these two fruits are also different. So with the help of their appearance, okay, with the help of their properties, we easily separate these two products in their respective groups. Okay students, so the properties of material is very important at the time of separation of substances. Now let's move ahead. Seems easy, but what if the materials we want to separate are much smaller than mango or guava? Imagine you are given a glass of sand with salt mixed in it. Impossible even to think of separating salt from this mixture by picking out grains of sand by hand. So suppose one container is here, in that the sandy water is kept, and in that some sand were mixed. Now these three mixtures we need to separate. So is it possible that we are going to use our hands for separating these three things? No, because here the property of these three materials is different. In these three materials, one is salt, but the salt is already dissolved in water. Okay, the second material is water, and the third one is sand. Everyone knows that sand will not dissolve in water, it will sink in the water. So let's see how we'll separate these three materials. You can see here I have taken two beakers. In this beaker you can observe liquid and some undissolved solid, that is sand. Okay, and this liquid contains salt, that means this water is a salty water. Now keep this salty water for a while. Okay, after that you can see the undissolved solid, that means this sand will sink in the water. Now with the help of steady, we need to convert this upper layer of clean water into the second beaker. So you can see here that the sand is appear in this beaker but in corner, and the liquid we can easily transfer into the second beaker. So here we separate two materials, that is liquid and this solid material. Okay, now these two materials we easily separated over here. Now we need to separate this salty water in two parts. One is pure form of water and the other one is salt. Let's see. Before separating salt from pure water or salty water, we just go through with this process. Now here you can see one funnel is taken. This is called a funnel in scientific language. Now one filter paper is taken. In filter paper we need to give this filter paper shape like cone. Okay, now we need to arrange this filter paper in this funnel. So you can see this blue color funnel we kept in funnel. Now we need to put that salty water in this funnel. Now you can see here some solid residues, that means some solid particles that are insoluble in water, they gathered here, and the water, clear water, is transferred from this funnel into this beaker. Okay, now here the water is clean, but the salt is still not separated because it is already dissolved in water, but the solid impurities are all separated. Now you can see here this type of separation I have already explained you in part 1. Here the method evaporation, condensation and transpiration is used. In standard 3rd, 4th you learned about how rain is come. Okay, so here what we have to do, we need to take that salty water in this kettle. Okay, and with the help of providing heat So you can see here the gas burner is on, and this gas burner is providing heat to this kettle. Now with the help of heating process, the water releases vapors. Now these vapors are releasing in this side. Okay, now with the help of this plate, these vapors are condensed over here. Condense means ये जो वेपर्स है ये यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएंगे, ठंडे हो जाएंगे, बिकॉज वी हैड केप्ट हियर आइस ऑन द प्लेट. ओके, नाउ यहाँ पे वेपर्स क्या हो गए, ठंडे हो गए. सो विद द हेल्प ऑफ कंडेंसेशन प्रोसेस दिस वेपर कन्वर्ट्स इनटू small droplets, tiny droplets. Now with the help of this beaker we can easily store this pure water in this beaker. So this process, with the help of this process, we convert salty water into pure form of water. Thank you.